Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gene. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate your support, and this video is definitely outside of my normal wheelhouse, but I think it's really important that I do this because if it helps just one person beat this freaking little demon, it will be worth it. If you're new here, I focus primarily on handbag reviews, so if that is of interest to you, please hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. The reason I'm doing this video is because I can't believe in like 6 days I got over nasal spray addiction. And I do have notes here, so I'll be occasionally glancing down. I just want to make sure I cover everything. So I'm going to talk about my story, how this addiction happened to me. I'm going to talk about what nasal spray addiction is, and I'm going to talk about what this little monster, horrible, awful, nasty, terrible, don't ever use it thing did to me. And I'm also going to talk about how it works and what it does. I'm going to talk about why I became concerned and felt I had to do something now about this. I'm going to talk about the research I did and how I beat this damn thing and how I feel now. So nasal spray addiction, it's not really an addiction, and I'll get into that in a minute. I'm not sure exactly when this started for me. I have really been trying to pinpoint the time frame, and the only way I can really do that is by looking back at trips I've had and trying to remember if I had my Afrin with me during those trips. I took a trip in February 2019, and I'm pretty certain I didn't have it with me then. I also took a trip in August 2019, and I don't recall having it with me then either, but I don't exactly recall having it with me on my trip last August of 2021, and I know for certain I did. So my best guess is this started sometime in the fall of 2019. So it's been at least 2.5 years. And how it started was pretty simple. I got sick, I had a cold, I always have allergies too, and I was pretty miserable with a stuffy nose. So I went on Instacart and I got some nasal spray. It worked. It cleared my nasal passages. But by the time I was over my cold, it was too late. I was already hooked on this stuff. So now I'm going to talk about nasal spray addiction. It's not really an addiction. There's nothing chemically in these types of nasal sprays that you actually get addicted to, like you would get addicted to nicotine or, oxy or meth or these other types of drugs. So you're not addicted to anything chemically. I will say you are dependent on it, because what this does and other nasal sprays that have similar ingredients is, and anyone that's had a bloody nose knows this, your nasal passages have tons of blood vessels surrounding them. And if you've gotten a bloody nose, which most of us have, you think, where the hell is all this blood coming from? It's coming from all those blood vessels. So what the active ingredients in these sprays do is they target those blood vessels and they force the blood out of the blood vessels, which shrinks the tissue in your nasal passages, thus opening up your airways. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. This is a demon, as I said, but when you spray this stuff in your nose, I mean, my nasal passages feel like they're as big as Lake Michigan. Like, oh my God, there's nothing there. I can breathe in. So it forces the blood vessels to force the blood out. I should say it forces the blood out of the blood vessels, which shrinks the tissue. The problem is when it wears off, more blood comes into those blood vessels than was there before. So now your nasal passages swell and now you've got a plugged nose. So you're constantly spray, 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 clear, plug, spray, 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 rinse, and repeat. And I think from my experience, it gets worse over time. When I started using this I would use it at pretty much at night for a while after I got over the cold. I was using it more frequently during the cold, but after I got it over the cold, my nasal passages started stuffing more, and I was using this predominantly at night. At the height, which was a week ago, more than just a week ago, but very recently, the height was multiple times a day, 1 to 3 times at night, depending on how often I woke up, because I'd wake up with a completely stuffed nose and a dry and sore throat. One of these wouldn't even last me a week. I mean, I would shoot like 3 sprays up each time, again, multiple times throughout the day. So it's like this rinse and repeat cycle. It's awful. It's horrible. I can't even believe I am through it in less than a week. It also, I think I thought that it was, and I didn't do research. This is my fault. It does say on here, like in this tiny little print somewhere, don't use more than 3 days in a week. Well, who can read that and who reads that? But I didn't do really any research on it. And so what I thought was happening was my nasal passages were full of mucus and it was clearing them out. Because when you spray this stuff in, your nasal passages get irritated, they get dry, so they create more mucus. So you have mucus draining down the back of your throat and you're constantly blowing your nose. So it feels like you had hard, dry mucus in there and it's clearing it out. But that's not the case. There's nothing in there. This is just an issue of tissue contracting and expanding. That's all it is. But you do become dependent on it because you can't breathe without it. So I thought it was getting rid of mucus and that was the problem. And I'm like, my allergies are so bad and this and that for the past more than 2.5 years. It's been miserable. Every day has been miserable. I blow my nose 1,000,000 times a day. I'm sneezing 1,000,000 times a day. That's all gone this week. So it's amazing. So it is that vicious cycle and you just don't know how to break it. Why I became concerned was last Friday night, I went to dinner with some friends. One lives below, 2 live above me. And we went upstairs for a glass of wine beforehand. And I review handbags, so I had a handbag with me. And one of my friends said, they're all guys. They said, well, why do you need to bring a bag? What do you need in there that you can't fit in pockets? So I opened the bag and was showing them things and I pulled this out. And one of my friends said, oh my God, that is the worst. You shouldn't use that. And he told me the story and sent me this article and I didn't read it because it sounded like it would freak the shit out of me. So I didn't read the article, but he told me about it. And it's some famous woman and she was hooked on this stuff for years. And she started having massive nosebleeds and she went to the doctor and the doctor said, you need to have nasal surgery. Your tissue is destroyed. And it was extremely painful. And I can't imagine like how you can't breathe through your nose. It's horrible. So I thought I really need to get this in hand. And Saturday I had some client meetings. I was working. So I said, okay, Sunday morning, I'm going to really do some research and figure out what I need to do. So Sunday morning, I started Googling and reading articles, and that's where I learned what this stuff really does and more of the risks of it. And it's pretty scary. And every article said, you need to quit cold turkey. You just need to quit cold turkey, and you're going to be miserable for 4 to 7 days. You're going to have a constantly stuffed nose and be miserable for 4 to 7 days. They also suggested you use like saline, like sprays like Flonase and like neti pots and things like that to help provide relief. Well, that doesn't work. I've actually tried that in the past. I tried Flonase accidentally because I went to Walgreens to get Afrin and they didn't have any. So I bought Flonase. Didn't work for me. I tried neti pots and other nasal rinses. Didn't work for me. And now I know why, because those things remove things from your nasal passages. They remove pollen and dust and dirt and other allergens. They clean out your nasal passages. So it does provide allergy relief, but that wasn't what was happening. What was happening is the tissues in my nose were expanding and swelling my nasal passages shut. So I knew those weren't going to work for me. And in my What's in My Bag video that I did last Sunday, somebody commented that I was really congested, or they texted me. It was a friend of mine. And that's because I had started cold turkey Sunday morning. And as the day progressed, it was like cement in my nasal passages. And I was sitting there in the afternoon, miserable. The pressure was intense. I couldn't swallow without feeling a really strong suction in the back of my throat. And I thought, there's no way. How am I going to sleep at night? There's no way. I can't handle this now. And it's been half a day. How am I going to handle this for 4 to 7 days? How am I going to sleep? So I was kind of freaking out, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to beat this thing? And then I read one article that was brilliant, and I can't believe I didn't think of this. It said do one nostril at a time. Spray the Afrin into one nostril, leave the other nostril alone and let it clog up, and then it will heal. And so that's what I did Sunday afternoon. I started with my right nostril and sprayed this in. So I cleared my right nostril, and although my left nostril was still completely plugged, it was such a sense of relief. And I thought the big test was going to be at night when I tried to go to sleep. Was I going to be able to sleep with just breathing through one nostril? The answer was yes. I fell asleep, and to my surprise, when I woke up Monday morning, both my nostrils were clear. Monday throughout the day, they both plugged up, and I sprayed the right one. Same thing on Tuesday, although I really policed myself, and I was like, don't spray until it becomes absolutely miserable. So I had already cut way down. I think I sprayed Monday morning, and that was it. Monday night before I went to bed, Tuesday night before I went to bed, and Wednesday night. So Wednesday night was the last time I sprayed anything in my nose. And I'm sitting here and both nostrils are clear. They do plug up here and there throughout the day, but not nearly as severe as they would when I was using this stuff, and it would wear off and it fades over time. And now I did buy Flonase just to have it in case something happens at night, but there's been nothing in the left nostril since Saturday night, and nothing in the right nostril since Wednesday night. So I'm just amazed and astounded, and I can't believe it. I feel like I've beat this thing, and it was so easy. It was so easy. And, I can't guarantee it's going to be that easy for everyone, but I feel so much better. I barely sneeze now, and I would sneeze a million times a day. And that's just because this would irritate and dry out your nasal passages. And like I said, you're constantly producing mucus. So you're constantly blowing your nose and sneezing, and it's pretty miserable. And I'm breathing clearly. And I'm just so happy. It feels so good. I can't believe it. I thought I was doomed Sunday. And then just getting this tip to do one nostril at a time made all the difference, made this so easy to get over. And, fingers crossed. But it's been, well over 24 hours since any of this has gone up my nose, and I haven't really felt the need to use it. So if you're struggling from this, try one nostril at a time. I did see all these other things in research and on different techniques, and one of them was this solution you buy, and you have a ratio of the nasal spray to the solution. And it starts out really high ratio with nasal spray, and then gradually you reduce it down. So the ratio becomes all solution, no nasal spray, from almost all nasal spray to all solution. And I watched some video, and the guy was on like day 45 or something of doing that. That is way too long, and the video was long, so I didn't really watch till the end of it, but it didn't seem like it was really working that well. So my advice, try one nostril at a time, and just make sure that if you're spraying in only the right nostril or the left nostril, you leave the other nostril alone. It will heal. This nostril, the left nostril, started feeling better the next day, and day over day, it started plugging less. So I hope this was helpful. Comment below if you've suffered through this and what you've done to overcome it and what your experiences are. But please, 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 please stay away from this stuff. Or if you use it, make sure, because I can never say I'm never going to use it again, because it does provide relief. But if you use it, do not use it sparingly. Because like I said, I don't even know how it happened. I just know I was sick. I bought it, and then I was using it multiple times a day for well over 2 years, and this would have just continued indefinitely until I either died or needed surgery. I mean, really, it just progressively becomes worse and worse and worse, and you need to use it progressively more and more and more. So that's my experience. That's how I've overcome it. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Leave some comments below and have a beautiful weekend, everyone.